Hello, people. It's your boy Osman back again with another show for all 5 people that watch this. I love you. I flipping love you. If you're one of the 5 people that watch this live or on repeat, just know you're a real one. But listen, slap a like, subscribe to the channel. My socials are in the description down below. Let's flipping go. United Road, take me home to a place I belong to. Old Trafford, see United. Right, no more singing because obviously I probably lost all of my one viewership. But anyways, let's get into the show. As you can see from the title, are Manchester United back? That is the question on everyone's lips. I've basically been asked this about 1,000,000 times. I thought, you know what? Let me do it on my own show. But listen, before we get into that, I just want to quickly talk regarding my current situation because quite clearly I haven't been posting that frequently. So you're probably thinking, Usman, I don't really know when you're going to post because to be quite honest with you, it changes every single week. So basically, this is the plan moving forward. So hopefully we go from 5 views to 6 because people think, yo, he's gonna stream at this day. So yeah, that's the plan. Anyways, if you do watch this, help a brother out, slap a bloody like. We actually hit 17 likes on the last video, 17. I know, not 70. Which to be honest, massive improvement. So we'll take that. So if we can get anything close to 17 views, you know, I'll take it. But on a level though, do hit a like on the video. I appreciate the support. Yeah, basically, let's get to the schedule. Anyways, long story short, I'm gonna basically be staying at 7 o'clock most likely, unless it's a Monday night show, which will be the Real Farm podcast, which whenever that comes back. So that will probably be a later show, but obviously I will tweet that. So if you're not, I suggest you follow me on Twitter because that is where you keep up to date with all things Usman Talks United. But yeah, so normally it will be 7 o'clock. Obviously, I won't stream on days that Man United are playing. So Thursday in this scenario, we're playing against Real Betis next week, so I won't be streaming then. I will be streaming on Tuesday, 7 o'clock. So make sure you get your notification bells on there. I've got a very good guest as well to join me for that one. So make sure you tune in for that. Also, I don't know the other day of the week. I might be Friday, it might be Wednesday. I'll have to look at my work schedule. So basically what I'm trying to say is I'm going to try to stream for you lot twice a week. And basically the matchday vlogs are still going to be a thing. So of course, stay tuned for that. But anyways, let's flip and get into it. Without further ado, Karen Brady's in the building. You love to see it. Let's go, Karen. Let's go. Shout out to Ali, my one viewer. I love you, bro. I love you. But yeah, shout out to you, bro. Obviously, you know, keeping it real. Let's just get on with the West Ham game. Should we just start with the West Ham game? First things first, it's becoming a normality that Manchester United are getting the W. Normal procedure remains at Old Trafford. I believe it's 20 games undefeated at Old Trafford under Eric Ten Habibi, or Eric Ten Quad, as Cass would say. But listen, for me personally, it's just a pleasure to have such a fantastic manager. I mean, bold is best is the new theme. You know, it looks like I'm bold with his hat on, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, regarding the game itself, I'm not going to lie. It wasn't the most scintillating performance. I mean, we made a lot of substitutes, which of course contributed to that. But nevertheless, look, Ten Hag made the changes as he always did, and the changes paid dividends. I mean, he also kept true to his word and actually gave Garnacho an opportunity from the start. And of course, that paid dividends with the clutch winner towards the back end of the game. As we all know at this point, man's shushing the haters. 18 years old. 18 years old, and he's already got haters. Imagine that 18-year-old already got haters. And not only has he got haters, he's shushing them. You'd love to see it. But yeah, like I said, the game wasn't it wasn't fantastic. To be fair to Weghorst, actually, I criticise him a fair bit. For what he doesn't bring, but for what he does bring to the team, he was absolutely faultless, to be honest. I thought he had a fantastic game. Look, I ain't got an agenda against Weghorst because I actually love the guy to bits. I mean, he loves Manchester United quite clearly. You know, he's a positive guy. He's positive guy. Seems like a really nice person as well. I got no hate against him, but for me, at the end of the day, I stay true to myself, which is we want to win titles, and I personally don't think Weghorst is good enough for us to do that. However, in this current situation, he's doing his job to an absolute T, which is basically pressing the opposition to mistakes, which he's fantastic at. Winning the ball high up the pitch. Obviously, in this game in particular, his link-up play was actually brilliant. I mean, he could have got a couple of assists on another day. Obviously didn't get the assist, but he did contribute to the goal. His shot deflected, fall into the path of star boy Garnacho, Alejandro. But yeah, overall, his performance was absolutely fantastic. Just want to point that out from the very get-go, because for me personally, I do think people are getting slightly carried away with Weghorst, I must say. And I get it. I can see why people love him. I understand it. Like I said, he was fantastic against West Ham, and he deserves his flowers. And to be honest, it's really nice to see a player like Weghorst come into the team, you know, and just do his job. I mean, he seems like he just goes about his business seamlessly. He's not causing anyone any problems. He's just doing what Erik ten Hag wants him. And that's all you'd want as a manager, a player that carries out your instructions to perfection and to a T. And he, without a doubt, is definitely doing that. In this current system, he's doing fantastically. So fair play to him. But for me personally, I just think people need to calm down a bit. I do think there's a bit of an overreaction with the United fan base. And I think a lot of that isn't to do with his footballing ability, but a lot of that is to do with sentiment. As I've already said, I personally do really like him as well. He just comes across like a really genuinely lovely guy. Obviously, that clip of him when we won the trophy, you know, winners win, baby. Winners win, baby. Obviously, other teams can't say that this season, especially you, Tottenham, by the way. You lot, shit club. Shit club. Anyways, Tottenham was just so shit on, honestly. Imagine supporting Spurs. That honestly, you are actually washed as a football club. But anyways, that aside, I digress. But yeah, so regarding him, I just think it's a bit of a sentiment thing. Obviously, the fans love it because he runs about. But what I'm trying to say is it gives me the vibes of Scott McTominay, basically, in terms of strike. You see with Scott McTominay, you know, at the start of the season, Scott McTominay, to be fair to him, was playing very well at the start of the season, bar the first two games. But he settled in very well. And there's that period where my United fans were saying, no, we don't need Casemiro. We've got Scott McTominay. You know, Scott McTominay is doing the job. Casemiro is not going to get into the team. Casemiro doesn't walk into the team. All this nonsense, all this talk. And that's basically the issue at Manchester United Football Club and the fans as a whole. We get carried away and we make our judgment on sentiment. Similar to how you, man, at the start of the season saying Casemiro's going to have to fight for his place, Scott McTominay is doing X, Y, and Z. Shut up, man. Just shut up. Shut up. That's what I would say. But, yeah, look, it's just ridiculous. I think people need to chill the hell out. Give credit where it's due, of course, which is what I've done already. But for me, the Weghorst hype needs to calm itself down. I'm not trying to get another a bit of sentiment in Manchester United Football Club, man. We need to rid of sentiment. I don't care about sentiment. I don't actually care. You know, Pogba's gone. He's my guy. Halas, it is what it is. Martial, if he has to go because Erik ten Hag doesn't want him and he can't stay fit, then get rid of him. Simple as that. I mean, there's no room for sentiment in football. In particular, at Man United, we've had it for too flipping long. I don't want any sentiment at this club anymore, and I don't want to come across like I'm bashing Weghorst because that's not what I'm trying to do. But I'm just trying to look at the overall picture here. People need to chill out, not just with him, with other people. I've also seen a lot of people basically saying, "Oh, we need to sign Sabitzer." To be fair, I might be one of them. Just don't mind me. But I was actually saying that prior because I actually really rate Sabitzer. If you follow me on Twitter, you will know I've been preaching about 3 long Sabitzer. He's my guy. Herrera replacement, all that stuff. I've been saying it anyways before he even kicked the ball for us. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, if we can get it for a bargain, I'm all for it. I thought he had a good game for what he could have done, but Scott McTominay for me, I don't want to be that guy. But the drop off from Casemiro, to McTominay, it's not even on the screen, bro. It's that absolutely ridiculous how far the drop off is. And I want to say this, right? And I hope people don't take this the wrong way because I'm not trying to be that guy. But Manchester United Football Club bought Paul Pogba, one of the greatest midfielders when we bought him, yeah? People will say he flopped. That's fine. We don't really want to get into that. But the point I want to make is we basically had Paul Pogba for 6 years, essentially. For 2 of those years, we gave him a midfield where he flourished. With Herrera and Matic, the trophies speak for themselves. The stats speak for themselves. He was in the team of the season for the Premier League. He just flourished, basically. As soon as Herrera left and as soon as Matic got injured or he wasn't really in the team, we saw a massive drop-off. Pogba was playing with Fellaini, McTominay, Fred, Pereira. I mean, it was Bruno, to be fair. It was absolutely shambolic. And then a period came, lockdown, etc. And there was the post-lockdown period where it was Matic, Pogba, and Bruno Fernandes in the midfield 3. And that is when basically the season started with no fans, etc. And if you remember correctly, Pogba was absolutely phenomenal once again in that period, that 10-game period, whatever it was. And people are going to say, oh, well, he wasn't consistent. The point I'm trying to make here is basically, we wasted Pogba. And people will say, oh, you're chatting nonsense, XYZ. But for me personally, we wasted Paul Pogba. And the reason being is we didn't unlock him. I know people use that as a meme, as a joke, etc. But the truth of the matter is we had him alongside Scott McTominay. We had him alongside Fred. We had him alongside Pereira. We didn't have a proper DM next to him. And that is a major issue. You see where he plays with Kante, he flourishes. Granted, everyone flourishes playing alongside Kante. But nevertheless, we wasted Pogba's best years at Manchester United. And that is partly our fault and partly his fault. Of course, he's to blame as well. But the point I'm trying to make is we cannot afford to have that lapse of judgment with the current situation. We have now got a bona fide world-class DM in Casemiro. Please put someone who's next to him of caliber. I don't want to have this Pogba 2.0 situation where we haven't got a proper centre mid next to him. And people will say, well, Casemiro is getting the best of X, Y, and Z. Yes, he is. That is true. He's a world-class player. And the truth of the matter is, he is absolutely above everyone else in this team, to be honest, in my best opinion. In terms of individual position, he's just levels clear. He's so good. He's a specialist at what he does. And the point is, we need to get someone next to him who's basically as good as him, if not within the stratosphere of Casemiro, playing alongside him. I mean, people will throw names out, Frankie de Jong, you know, people of that ilk, so to speak, but Barella is available as well, potentially. But basically what I'm trying to say is we can't afford to waste this guy's years. I know people are getting onto Fred hype as well, Eriksen hype, whatever you want to call it. For me, these guys are good squad players at best, but we need to get someone next to Casemiro. And I think yesterday showed that for me once again. You know, without Casemiro in this team looks frail, to be honest. And it's important that we make the most of this guy because we're not going to have him for many years. You know, we wish we got him earlier, of course, but he's 31. He just turned 31. We need to maximize the potential that we have with this guy, and I think that's extremely important for me. That's kind of what I took away from this game in terms of like an overarching feeling moving forward. But yeah, overall, obviously second half, you know, they scored their goal. The ball was clearly out of play, by the way. For me, it was absolutely ridiculous that wasn't ruled out. Yes, granted, Casemiro in particular kind of switched off, played to the whistle. I mean, it was schoolboy from him, I must say, although I've just lauded him and praised him for the best part of 5 minutes. But it was poor by him. He has to play to the whistle. However, it was one of them situations where you almost like switch off. Well, quite clearly switched off, but like it's just so clearly out. Like it's almost like a given. Like so. I'm not making excuses for him, but all the experience he's got in the world, it wasn't good enough from him. You got to do better. All the team switched off practically, and they scored from that. And I mean, it was a poor goal to concede. I was expecting us to probably concede a goal because, of course, our favoured Backham was not available for the game. I know Martinez did get subbed on, but he didn't start the game. I can't remember if he was on the pitch when that goal went in. I feel like it was Lindelof and Maguire. I don't want to be that guy, but yeah, Maguire for me, by the way. He's just not good enough. I mean, to be fair to him, and I'm going to give him the benefit of doubt to an extent, he hasn't played in a while. He has been dropped for a long period of time. So it can be difficult, you know, to get your rhythm and stuff. So I will give him that benefit of the doubt. But he's just lacking every aspect of a flipping centre-back. I mean, it just feels to me there's absolutely no confidence. And when he's on the pitch, to be honest, alongside Lindelof, both of them, you can put them together actually. It just gives me flashbacks, and it's really not good for my PTSD, which I don't have, but it's really triggering traumatic memories. Like Maguire and Lindelof together, it really is traumatic for me as a Man United fan, and I'm sure you guys can relate. I mean, just seeing them on the football pitch, it's just flashbacks constantly. I don't want to relive that. I mean, we've come out of that, and thankfully, we seem like we found the light at the end of the dark tunnel, but yeah, it's not great. I mean, we got the job done. I'm happy he rested who he rested. I thought it was extremely integral that the players were rested. I thought for me personally, it was important that Varane did not play this game. I mean, if you can't be West Ham at home with the form they're in at the moment, with regardless of who's on the pitch, then they don't deserve to be at Man United. I understand there's a thing where, you know, 2-minute substitutes, you know, sways momentum, so to speak. And there was definitely a case for that. We were definitely not good outfit yesterday, sorry. But at the same time, these players have to show Ten Hag why they should be starting. I don't feel like the fringe players did enough in that sense. I thought Sabitzer had a good game overall in terms of like what he brought to the team. Was it a great performance? Possibly not. I do think, and again, back to Scott McTominay. I do think some of that is due to the fact Scott McTominay was there. He's just absolutely shocking. He's not a DM, to be fair to the guy, so I'm digging him out, but it's not really his position. So I mean, I can't. Got to cut him a bit of slack, to be honest, but it is what it is. But yeah, just for me, I thought Sabitzer was okay. Garnacho, I thought he had good moments. And obviously took his goal fantastically well. But the thing is, right, the biggest thing I took away from that game, we go 1-0 down, and I'm sat there watching the game, and I'm like, calmer. That was my thought process. Calmer. We're going to come back. And I think that is the difference within the United fan base, of course, but also the players will sense that as well. You know, they have that self-belief that we will get back in this game, especially at Old Trafford as well. The fans were fantastic from what I could hear on TV. It seemed extremely loud, which of course is, you know, standard Old Trafford these days, which is great to hear. But yeah, the players reacted, and I thought as soon as we conceded, we actually started to improve in terms of the manner in which we are moving through the thirds. My only gripe would be, why the hell does it take a goal for us to start playing football? I thought we were a bit pedestrian prior to the goal going in for West Ham, and that is a bit disappointing. I'm sure Ten Hag would be disappointed with that as well. But yeah, like, great performance after that period. I thought Manchester United really, you know, were knocking on the door, and it seemed inevitable that we were going to score. And I've not said that for a long time. As a fan, I felt like the goal was coming. We were in the ascendancy. We went up a couple of levels. Of course, Marcus Rashford coming onto the pitch has that impact as well. But the players stepped up. I know we were a bit fortunate with the first goal being an own goal, but Weghorst made his presence known. I can't remember the guy's name. Well, I can't pronounce it, actually. That's a lie. This West Ham centre back, basically, unfortunate on his perspective, but from a United perspective, absolutely buzzing when that goal went in. And when that goal went in, I felt like we will get the winner. I didn't actually expect it to be in normal time. I thought it would be an extra time, which thank God it was not, because the whole point of Rashford not starting was so he actually got a rest. So thankfully, he only played like 30, 40 minutes. But yeah, it's still, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But yeah, nevertheless, Garnacho, Starboy Garnacho. I can't believe people are rating off Garnacho at the age of 18. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the United fan base are actually mental, aren't they? They're actually mental. The fact they're writing this kid off already, it's just ridiculous. But nevertheless, he stood up when it mattered. Bit fortunate the way the ball bounced to him, but take nothing away from Garnacho. A fantastic touch. He takes it out his feet and bends it into the top corner. I probably think the keeper was onside. I'm not really sure what happened with the keeper, but I couldn't care less, to be quite frank with you. Shout out to obviously Garnacho, and obviously the fact that he kept going. You know, he had good moments in the game. He had a couple of periods where he was a bit quieter. But overall, that's a fantastic goal for such a young player. And I believe that's his first goal at Old Trafford as well. I know he has scored at the Youth Cup final. I was actually there. Scored a brace that day. He was absolutely fantastic that day as well. But yeah, no, it's good for him on a personal level. It's good that other people are contributing to goals as well. And it's not so reliant on Rashford. And then the third goal came from, I would say, an unlikely source, but it's becoming very likely at the moment. Fred with the third goal, you know, it was the 95th minute. Obviously, the game was stretched, and it deflected in. But listen, when things are going well for you, they're going well. And look, I'm not a hater. Fair play to Fred. You know, he came on, did his thing, and I thought he contributed massively. So, you know, you got to give credit where it's due. Again, Eric Ten Hag substitutions are paying dividends. I mean, it seems that everything Ten Hag does is basically right at the moment. I mean, whatever substitute it is, whatever tactical tweak he makes, he's basically been vindicated with the players that have come on, and they're putting the performance a lot. Shout out to Eric Ten Hag, shout out to Fred, obviously shout out to Garnacho as well. But look, overall, Manchester United not as scintillating best, but we get through and we are playing Fulham. I just got a message for the Real fans, right? Right, okay, so this is a message to all the rivals. Just a shout out to every single one of you that is crying constantly about Manchester United getting favourite draws. Manchester United got easy running. Manchester. Can you guys stop crying for a second? First things first, how about you stop getting kicked out? Or how about you actually stay in the competition? We're not even in a late stage in the competition. We're like in the last 16 or last 8 or whatever it may be. I think it's the last 8. And you're all out. There's only Man City left. Literally every single one of you big clubs are out. Arsenal out. Chelsea out. Liverpool out. Spurs pathetic as always. And the same fans from them clubs are saying Man United got easy run. Well, don't get kicked out, and we might actually play you lot. So, to be honest, you're probably an easier game than Fulham at the moment. Chelsea's definitely easier than Fulham at the moment, as is Liverpool, as is Spurs. I feel like the Liverpool one might come back to bite me nuts, but nevertheless, Fulham is definitely a better game than Chelsea. I don't care. People are talking about stature. Fulham's a harder game than Chelsea every day of the week. They've actually got a bit of quality and they know how to find the back of the net. I'm sorry, but this notion that Man United have got easy running is true. But at the same time, you can't blame us because none of you were left in the competition. Obviously, Man City are still there. So if we do go through, we will eventually play them at some. Well, I would assume we'd play them at some point. So you guys can stop crying because we'll end up beating them as well if Kompany doesn't do one over his old club. So yeah, for me personally, that's absolutely pathetic. I mean, rather tears. It is what it is. You guys keep crying. It's not our fault. You guys can't get in. As the great philosopher Chris Brown once said, "How can you hate from outside the club? Why are you hating? Why are you hating if you can't get in?" So simple as that. Stay in your lane and actually try to stay in the competition. But listen, for me personally, right, Man United have got a great chance to win the FA Cup. Fulham, as I mentioned, they're definitely a harder game than Chelsea and co. But we're at home again. I think, to be fair, in that sense, we have been fortunate with all the home draws. That's a bit mad. But yeah, Fulham at home, good chance for Manchester United to potentially get the, well, I said potentially book another place at Wembley. Of course, the semi-finals are both played at Wembley. So it would be another opportunity for us to get there. It would be fantastic. All about building momentum. Of course, we won the trophy earlier this week, and it's just about building on that and hoping that, you know, we can carry that momentum forward. Big game on Sunday, which, of course, I will talk about very shortly. But yeah, for me personally, yesterday, beating West Ham, I didn't really care about the performance too much. It was about getting over the line and just carrying on that momentum from Sunday, and we did that. And I think there's real belief within the fan base that Man United can actually do something this season. And when I said do something, I'm not talking about winning the quad or anything like that. I'm talking about actually competing on all four fronts. I think we are competing on three. Whether we're competing on the league remains to be seen. Obviously, there can still be twists and turns with that matter. But as it stands, yeah, for me personally, Man United are definitely moving in the right direction. I just want to say a shout out to the sports captain. Big up my bro. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Hopefully you're doing well, broski. If you are tuning in, obviously most of you probably watching this on repeat. Make sure you do slap a like on the video. As I said on the last video, we got 17 likes, which is quite a lot for me. So hopefully we can aim towards that number. That would be absolutely fantastic. Please do like the video and obviously subscribe to the channel. It's completely free to support your boy. As I already said, I know I haven't been posting a lot, but I'm hoping to try and post twice a week until, as in 2 podcasts and hopefully a match day vlog. Basically been 3 or 4 videos, give or take. But yeah, I've just been really busy with work, to be honest, as you guys know. So yeah, I'm just trying to balance everything out. But yeah, hopefully I can post for you guys more frequently. I'm all good, mate. It's Munzi here, by the way. Yeah, no worries. I know it's you, bro. Don't worry. I know. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for tuning in, obviously, and thank you for coming through. Hopefully, your channel's doing well and stuff. And it's good to know that you're doing well. I'm sure you're like myself, you're in good spirits. But yeah, feel free to get comments in. Obviously, I will read them out. You guys need a serious centre mid and a serious striker to challenge. I'm actually going to say something that's a bit ridiculous, but in my head, it's not. Anyways, I think if we had Pogba and Martial, obviously Pogba's not here anymore, but if you had Pogba and Martial both fully fit this season, I think we would have won the league. Like, I genuinely think, like, if we had both of them fully fit, which of course is a ridiculous statement because they're neither fit and one's not even at the club. But I genuinely believe if Pogba and Martial were both at Manchester United this season and fully fit week in, week out, we would have won the league. We're basically third. I think people forget that we are third, essentially, with a reject Burnley striker, with all due respect to him. We're basically playing Fred week in, week out. Obviously, we know everything there is to know about Fred. I mean, Eriksen's got injured. Sabitzer's just come in. But we're basically playing with a team that doesn't really have a great deal of quality, and it also is fairly reliant on one individual, which is Rashford. 4 goals at the moment. If you actually look at statistics, which is not something I do often, but they don't actually lie in this scenario. Rashford's all-European in terms of his stats, and the next one's like down here. So for me, if we had a fit Martial this season, even if a fit Martial, Pogba aside, a fit Martial, we would definitely have been in the Tartarus conversation because he would have at least given us 4 points. I think for me personally, there's been a few games where we just haven't taken our chances. I mean, the Crystal Palace game in particular is so frustrating. I know at least he scored an absolute wonder free kick, but that was 2 points dropped. We should have been out of sight. I mean, if we had a proper striker, as Sammy has said, if we had a serious striker and a serious centre mid, we would have won that game quite comfortably, 3 or 4-0. And there's been a few games like that this season where we've dropped points because we haven't been clinical in front of goal. And it's disappointing. We could have been quite comfortably in the title race. You know, another 4 points puts us 4 points behind Arsenal with them and City still to play. I do think 8 points is too far of a stretch. But yeah, it is where it is. Obviously, next season, hopefully, we can get a proper striker and a proper centre mid and go again. I suppose, Sammy, my question to you would be, as a Real Madrid fan, have you got any more finished players? Benzema, Modric. I mean, I don't know if either of them want to, fancy joining Casemiro and Varane, go again. I'll take Benzema. Take him in a year or two. I'm still sure he's got enough quality to do the job. I don't actually know how old Benzema is. Is he 33 or 35? I can't seem to remember. I feel like he's 33, but that sounds a bit young for him. I don't know. But anyways, I would take Benzema just for the sake of it because he's an absolute bad man. But yeah, look, we need to address that in the summer. But in terms of the conversation that we're going to have right now, are Manchester United back? For me personally, I would have to say no, not at the moment. I think for me to sit here with chess and say Man United back, we'd have to be in a title race and we'd have to be competing to the last day. I think Manchester United is about winning trophies. We have just won one, of course, but it's about basically being at the top table, eating on the top table, the Champions League, the Premier League, of course, them 2 trophies in particular. Once we start competing in them and obviously hopefully win one of them, ideally the Premier League, I would say that we are back, of course. I think we'd have to win the Premier League for me to sit here and say Manchester United back. Or Manchester United heading in the right direction, absolutely. Am I confident as a fan that we are heading towards being back? Absolutely. I wholeheartedly believe Erik ten Hag and his coaching staff when he says everything he says in terms of his mentality and, Man United is about winning trophies. Everything Ten Hag says is basically what I want to hear as a fan. So I definitely think we're heading in the right direction. I just think we have to be winning trophies, the major trophies, for us to really say we're back. And I think we need to remember who we are. We are Manchester United, the biggest club in England. And for us to be back would mean we've won a Premier League title. In my best opinion, obviously everyone has a different definition of that. But yeah, no, bro, the guys that want out won't help you guys. I don't want to give you the replays. I appreciate you. Just put whatever for Kane and to be honest, if we get Kane and De Jong, I still think that's enough for us to win the league next season. Obviously, there are other areas we need to improve as well. Don't get me wrong, but I think Kane and De Jong, them two in particular, if we get them both and they can both stay fit, I think we win the Premier League next season. I've said that with chess, to be fair. And I know I'm going to stick by that. If Manchester United get Harry Kane and Frankie de Jong next season, we will win the Premier League. I think with 2 players away, in particular, of real top quality from basically being the top of the tree. And I think for me, I don't think it's a ridiculous statement. I think Harry Kane, what he would bring to the team is far superior to what Weghorst is currently bringing. Of course, Martial's never available and Ronaldo's no longer here. So we're practically playing with a Burnley striker and we're third. I mean, imagine we've got someone of Kane's caliber. I mean, the levels is absolutely astronomical. But saying that, obviously, one's got a trophy, one hasn't. But yeah, nevertheless, I think Kane would elevate us massively. His overall game would suit Ten Hag to an absolute T. And then you got Frankie de Jong. You saw when he came to Old Trafford, he was just balling. I mean, for me, he's the kind of player we need. It'll be interesting to see if we're going from again. It would be interesting to see if we're going for again. I know a lot of United fans don't want it because he's already rejected us. And I get it. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I probably shouldn't say this, but I really liked it when Bruno kicked the ball at him when he was on the floor. I don't know if I can say that, but it's just, I don't know, something about it. It was just like proper shit housing. I love it. I absolutely love that from Bruno. But overall, yeah, Frankie de Jong, he glides past players. He's got the capabilities of conducting play. He's press resistant to the max. I mean, I mean, he's a Barcelona player. They're all basically press resistant, but he is top draw. His passing range is top quality as well. I mean, he's everything you'd want in a Ten Hag system. And imagine him alongside Casemiro. I think there would be a sensational partnership. And football's about partnerships. As much as people want Fred to be that guy, I personally think we need someone extremely more competent on the ball. With everything Fred is fantastic at, he lacks in other departments. And you know what, to be fair to Fred, he has proved me wrong in the last month or so. So I got to give credit where it's due to Fred. And I will hold my hands up and say, no, I was wrong about him. He is a good squad player and he will definitely have play his part in Manchester United being successful. But for me, he can't be starting week in, week out. Unless it's against a big team where we're probably not going to dominate the ball so much, then Fred does come into his own. But in terms of where we want to be under Ten Hag, and we want to play this, progressive football where we're controlling the games, you need a conductor, and Frankie de Jong is that guy. But yeah, let's get some of your comments in. James in the building, shout out, bro. Shove your bubbles up your ass. I love to see. If you haven't seen that video, it's absolutely flipping gold. James tiptoeing in the Hammer's End, bursting bubbles, forever blowing bubbles. Yeah, I'm not going to sing the rest of it because we're not West Ham fans. Anyways, that's facts. Some people want to admit it for fear of being clipped up. Kane fits in perfect. Listen, I don't care about being clipped up in general. I clip it myself, actually. How about that? But yeah, I actually think Kane and De Jong get us into the title race. And I've got to be honest, I think it wins us the league. I know people will say that's ridiculous, but we've got the best centre-back partnership in the world for me. We've got the best in the world. That might be a bit of a stretch, but in the league, without a shadow of a doubt. And I think we've got the best DM in the league as well, if not the world. I think Casemiro is an absolute sensation. And I think it's almost disrespectful that people put him in conversations with Fabinho and Partey. I mean, Casemiro's won 5 Champions Leagues at Real Madrid. Are people forgetting who this guy is? I mean, the guy's literally got into the whatever it was, FIFA 11, over Partey and Fabinho, not even in question. But people are just assuming that this guy didn't play football before he came to Man United. I mean, this guy's been there, done that, got the T-shirt at bloody Real Madrid, one of the biggest clubs, if not the biggest club in the world. In my personal opinion, they are the biggest club in the world. But nevertheless, he's done it for a long period of time. And people are comparing him to Fabinho. I mean, the disrespect is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, there's a reason Fabinho holds bench and brings water to Casemiro when he snaps his fingers for him. So, yeah, none of this nonsense. But, yeah, the point being, we've got Martinez, Rolls-Royce for Varane, and, of course, Casemiro. I think them through as a trident are absolutely ridiculously good. Gives us that base. You throw in Frankie de Jong next to them. You've got Bruno Fernandes who's doing his thing, running around like a dog, obviously creative, etc., etc. You put Harry Kane in that front line. That's a great spine. Do you think Man United do need to improve the goalkeeper? But of course, we'll get to that for a later stage. But yeah, overall, things are looking fantastic moving forward. And I think we're heading in the right direction. So yeah, to answer the title, I don't think we're back as of yet until we are holding the Premier League like that. I won't say we're back, because for me, Premier League is your bread and butter, your league. Obviously trophies are brilliant. I do think obviously if we were to win 2 or 3, that would be a ridiculous season, of course, getting top 4 as well. And that would be a massive step in the right direction, don't get me wrong. But I think until you win the Premier League or the Champions League, you can't really say Man United back, because you've got to remember the history of the club. We are the biggest club in England. We are the club that everyone fears the most. We are the club that people are desperate for us not to be successful. We do not have any fans in this country. People do not want Manchester United, a sleeping giant, which is what we have been for the last 10 years, to arise from this slumber like the flipping phoenix from the ashes. People do not want that. And people are scared. People won't admit it, but they're scared, because Erik ten Hag has done absolutely phenomenal work in such a small period of time. And I think people forget the work he's done is absolutely ridiculous. I think people actually underestimate the mammoth task he had when he first walked in through the door at Old Trafford. And the fact that he started in the manner in which he started with his 2 losses as well really makes it even more sweet. He's turned it around ridiculously. I mean, the work he's done doesn't get enough credit. People will say he spent X amount of money. I'm sorry, but he has spent a lot of money, and those players have come in and paid dividends, but we've kind of overpaid for all of them. Let's keep it a buck. But that aside, actually, no, I retract that statement. We haven't overpaid for Casemiro or Martinez. They've been absolute bargains. I think Antony still hasn't warranted his price tag, I must say. But nevertheless, Ten Hag has done absolute miracles, and people again will say, "Well, he's inherited a 1 billion squad." People are completely removing the context. I mean, there were so many issues. The way he's dealt with the Sancho situation was absolutely fantastic, man manager. He really has gone above and beyond for Sancho, and you've seen with a smile when he first came back that day, his first game back after this massive layover. You know, there was a different kind of buzz at Old Trafford, firstly, to welcome Sancho back. But secondly, that managerial and player relationship, you can tell that there's something deeper than just a manager and a player. There's a lot, there's a lot of love and respect there both ways. The way he dealt with the Cristiano Ronaldo situation, absolutely exemplary. I mean, he did not deter from his principles, which is basically you either buy into my system and fall in line, or you are not welcome at United, or you're going to be a squad player, you're going to be on the bench. And people will say, well, he was fortunate because Ronaldo basically shot himself in the foot. And there is truth to that. That isn't me discrediting that, but also we can't overlook the fact that he could have quite easily played Ronaldo week in, week out, which is what a lot of other managers would have done, who don't have the basically authority or basically the cojones, so to speak, to actually say to Ronaldo, no, you're sitting on the bench this week. And he did that a lot. Prior to Ronaldo's outburst, he was doing that a lot. Hence, there was a shitstorm about Ronaldo being disrespected and not playing, etc., etc., etc. And Ten Hag, to be fair to him, stuck true to his words and stuck to his principles, as I've already said, and played people on merit, not on names. And you got to respect that. And the other one would have been Maguire's situation. Again, Erik Ten Hag dealing with that fantastically well. I mean, he didn't take the captaincy off him. He didn't want to rock the boat. And to be honest, I questioned that decision initially. I was like, that does not make sense. Why is he not taking the captaincy off him? But he played an absolute blinder. He gave him 2 games. He said, listen, this is your opportunity. Show me what you got. And Maguire, alongside other players as well, I must admit, failed miserably in those first 2 games. And he said, listen, you're off. Varane, I need you, bro. I need you. And I also brought in the Butcher, who's been an absolute revelation, tiptoeing through the coppin. He's from Argentina. My guy. I actually love that chant as well. But yeah, for me, the way he's dealt with that situation, and of course the most recent one, the Marcus Rashford situation, absolutely brilliant man management. Once again, showing the rest of the dressing room, I am the boss. This guy's in flipping the form of his life, but I don't care if you're not following simple instructions and if you're not abiding by the rules, i.e. turning up on time, you're not playing. Simple as that. And I think a combination of everything that I've just mentioned there, alongside his ability to get an extra 15 to 20% of all the players, has basically seen the progression accelerate tenfold, so to speak. And I think people do discredit Ten Hag, especially Real fans in particular. They talk about the money, they talk about X, Y, and Z, inheriting the squad basically being as good as it is. But let's keep it real. Last season, we were shambolic. We had Oli, we had Ralph. They could not fix the mess. I mean, for me personally, Ten Hag has worked miracles, and bold is best. Sam is saying we're playing Barca and Frankie tonight. It's on BT Sport in the UK first leg of the semi-final. Ooh, what time is that, Sammy? Sorry, bro, I didn't see that. I like your left wing depth. It's quality. Yeah, I think without a shadow of a doubt, I think we do have some depth in some areas. There are definitely some areas with more stacked than others. The left wing definitely being one of them. I think Garnacho in particular, his sort of introduction to the squad has also been a massive positive. I mean, he's come in under difficult circumstances. He's played probably more than he expected, more than most of us have expected, to be fair. And he's been fantastic for most part, in particular off the bench. I'm just happy he started and had that impact as well when it mattered. In the clutch moments, and the celebration was absolutely sensational. I mean, a young lad. I mean, as you can see from the thumbnail, you love to see it. You love to see that level of confidence. That bit, he's got a bit of that Ronaldo arrogance about him. Of course, he's a massive Ronaldo fan, so it's probably him just copying Ronaldo, to be honest. But nevertheless, man, I love that shit, man. I love that shit. Long may it continue. But yeah, regarding the team in general, going into the Liverpool game, for me personally, look, we haven't got a great track record at Anfield. I don't actually know our last few ventures to Anfield. Well, obviously last season we've erased that from the memory. But yeah, in general, obviously Liverpool have been fantastic the last 5-6 years. Bar this one, of course. It's going to be a difficult game. I actually think it's going to be a lot harder than most people give credit to. So it started in 20 minutes. Actually, I'm going to jump on and watch that. But what I will say is that With Liverpool, they look extremely vulnerable at the moment. I know they just won the last game, but you saw with the mighty Real Madrid coming and absolutely dismantling them on the counter-attack. Manchester United have been very devastating on the counter-attack. So if we actually go ahead and we have the luxury of hitting them on the break time and time again that game, I think it could be a fantastic game for us. But these are the games you are judged on. These are the games people see if you made progress. It's a derby. Anything can happen. I mean, we've seen Everton beat Arsenal against our odds this season at Goodison Park. So it's definitely not out of the realms of possibility that Liverpool actually cause an upset and win or even get a draw. So I'm not basically dismissing that as a thought. But as Kish has just said, we're going to slap him. We're going to slap him because we've got Martinez tiptoeing through the club pen. He's going to bitch slap them. Bitch slap. I hope Darwin Núñez is fit. I hope Darwin Núñez is fit because I want him to get pocketed one more time by the boys at the back. I mean, for me personally, if we're unfit, Darwin Núñez ain't going to do shit. Obviously, Martin is going to pocket him. Martin is going to do a job on that guy. He don't want on his Martin as well. Núñez is a fake South American. We're going to show him the real South American. Flipping gangsters. We've got some bad man in that team. Innit, Kish? Fred, chat to me about Fred. But yeah, Fred, to be fair, this is the kind of game for Fred. This is the ones that he flourishes in. Casemiro, Fred, lock it off, boys. I do think Liverpool are going to struggle to score against us. Wan-Bissaka is going to pocket whoever the hell dares to play on that wing. I don't really care who's playing on that wing because they're not going to get past Wan-Bissaka if he starts. I mean, he should start this game. It's a no-brainer for me personally. But yeah, overall, confident that we get a result. My only thing is that with these small clubs like Liverpool, you know, they get out for these big games because it's like their FA Cup game, it's their final. I mean, it's a big game for them in this season. They haven't got much else to live for or play for. So it's a big moment for them. Sometimes under the lights, they get a bit, actually, it's not under the lights, it's 4:30, but nevertheless, they get a bit lucky, you know, things go their way. You never know what can happen. It's football. But yeah, going to that game with confidence, I do think we'll win that game. And I'm going to actually stick my neck out on the line, and I'm going to say 2-0 to Manchester United. I do think we're going to have too much for them on the counter-attack, and I also do think that they won't score, basically. I mean, they could potentially get a lucky goal, who knows? But yeah, for me personally, I think we're going to have enough to get that clean sheet and come away with 3 points. I mean, that would be a fantastic result for Man United and an end of a brilliant 2 weeks. As a Man United fan, to be quite frank with you. But listen, regarding all things Manchester United, make sure you keep it locked in. If you haven't already, please do slap a like on the video if you're enjoying the podcast. Obviously, if you're enjoying me being on my own, of course, we will have some guests on next week. Hopefully, we can sort that out. Please do subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on all my social. My Twitter handle is there. Also in the description if you can't see it for whatever reason. And also follow me on TikTok if you wish to do so. I do actually post that 2 or 3 times a day on TikTok, which is probably where I post most. Beside Twitter, of course. But yeah, feel free to follow me on all those platforms. Obviously, stay locked in here on the YouTube channel. I appreciate everyone that's dropping a like on the video. Like I said, got to 17 last week. Hopefully, we can at least get close to that. That would be absolutely fantastic. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let your granddad know. Let your grandma know. We're trying to get to 1,500. We're getting close to 1,500, so slowly climbing my way back up. But nevertheless, back with a bit more consistency. Hopefully, you guys appreciate that. And hopefully we can keep going with the momentum on the channel. But yeah, apart from that, it's been your boss man, all Manchester United back. For me, to conclude, I still think we need to win the Premier League for me to say that with Chaz. That's basically it. I forgot the chant. Damn, I was going to chant, but I've forgotten the words. Yes. Tiptoe through the club pen with a cleaver. He's from Argentina. Tiptoe through the club pen with a cleaver.